Welcome to the remote 3-person Baking It Down podcast this week. If you thought last week wasn't technical enough, Corey and poor Christina have said, let's edge up and see if we can make it even more difficult to manage all this. But this is the Baking It Down podcast with our first remote in guest interview per the people's request that it not be just Corey and myself endlessly.
Thank goodness. After 2 years, we needed some flesh blood. And it is Christina. And she is owner of the Boujee Baker Boutique. And she actually has her own cookie business too. Is that correct?
That is.
So before we jump into our interview, Corey, can you tell us what marketing nuggies are?
Okay. Welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing and Podcast. We're actually a group that's on Facebook, about 50,000 bakers strong. And you never will guess, it is Sugar Cookie Marketing's birthday.
Happy birthday, group. The group has turned 5. It's toddling about. It's tripping over itself.
It really, truly is. I think we've gotten the swing of things after 5 years. There's been a lot of marketing nuggets, lots and lots of know-hows. Definitely many podcast episodes, but the group has just been so phenomenal to see how it's grown. It's shifted. The industry's changed. People have come, gone, come back, gone again, come back again. So now we've reached 5 full years, but this podcast is actually a spinoff on that group. So whatever happens in the group, whether it's a trending topic, we had like websites closed down recently, so we did a podcast on that. If we see something coming up or like people need a little, handhold, a hug after the crazy holiday season.
Come here. I love you.
Come on, mommy. That is what this podcast is about. But this is the new version of the podcast. So, me and Heather can be some stale crockers after 2 years.
People will be like, no, we just haven't listened to you in about a year. And don't worry, the numbers report back.
So that's why we said, let's bring some fun blood onto the podcast. And you won't find anyone more fun than Christina. Let me tell you.
Interesting thing, and bless Christina's soul. And I'll tell you why Christina's remote, although she still lives in Northern Virginia with us. I got back from a 10-hour trip one way. It was a 20-hour round trip, but on the way back, I actually left my car to get the tires replaced. Got these brand new snow tires. Snow has got nothing on me now, allegedly, and I'm 2 hours from home, and the TPMS light comes on, and it says you've lost 10 psi in the last mile, which means I have flat tire on my absolutely brand new shoes, my rubber. So I'm pulling, and it's, there's Northern Virginia, which we all know, where there's a gas station every 2 seconds and massive shoulders because traffic is so pervasive.
Sure.
And there's the mountain road I was on, and it was not Northern Virginia. And I was like, shit, do I know how to change a tire? Yes. Is it attractive? No. Would it cause me an earlier Botox appointment? Yes. So I said, I wonder how far and fast I could drive before I get into Northern Virginia with a gas station, with a Diet Coke machine, and be able to fill up this tire. But I nursed the car back home, and Tire Rack, and you'll probably Tire Rack for my cold dead hands. That is the one company I'm always impressed by. They have a 2-year road hazard warranty. Sounds like a sales pitch. This will be my
It does. I feel like you work for
and for the low price right now, if you buy 4 tires. But they replaced the tire completely and have a mobile tire installer coming on Thursday morning.
Wow.
Yeah, so $120 for the installer, but the tire is free.
Wow. Oh, anyways, so you have to pay for the install of this guaranteed tire?
I was going to have to pay anywhere unless I knew how to install a tire, which you need a whole machine. Okay. Knowledge, which I lack. So anyways, and then Corey has an FH4 appointment. And so we promised Christina we would take her out to lunch in her beautiful town of Warranton, where your brick and mortar is, your supply shop is.
Yes.
Soon in this fall weather that we are so much enjoying.
Well, let's dive into the life of Christina. We don't have to go all the way to baby toddler days, but we want to hear how
it's an interesting story.
I learned how to walk on the street.
It was light. I was screaming. I was crying. For over the years, I've known of Christina for a lot longer than I've known Christina, but she has started, she had a full-time job and did baking. Then she went to just baking. Then you had a cookie shed. Am I correct in saying that?
That's correct.
Yeah, for a hot minute. And then she said, you know what? This isn't hard enough. We're going to open a supply shop.
Which is wildly impressive that your hair color matches your shirt, which color matches your shop. But I feel like you have been through many a trench and you are like, I love trenches. Let me find another one and let me just dig it deeper and see how complicated I can make
So
it.
give us the rundown, the backstory of the Boujee Baker Boutique and your cookie business and how you came to the decision to like almost combine both, dare I say, but not necessarily combine it, but you can explain it better than I can.
Sure. So I started Stormy Acres Cookies right around when sugar cookie marketing came about. So we just actually hit our 5-year
Oh, well,
birthday
happy
as well, which is
birthday.
crazy. And I guess that started in October of 2020. And then June, I quit my career to pursue cookies full time, which may or may not cause some marital issues, but we've worked through it since then.
Another trench. You're like, I really want to do marriage counseling. I'd like to see how that goes.
Lots of marriage counseling. No, it's great though. And then had a cookie shed because my husband was tired of having all of my products everywhere in the house. So we just bought an old worksite trailer, gutted it. He redid the entire inside, and that was where I did cookies. I did everything in there except bake. So, and then I was like, I really want to grow. I don't want to go back to corporate America. Let me start looking into having a store. But sugar cookies, yeah, I don't see how you could be profitable just having a storefront and doing cookies. Like,
Yeah.
they take way too long. So I had this crazy idea to open up a supply store with all of our favorite brands that allow for me to purchase wholesale so I can resell. And then you have a one-stop shop for everything that you love, all your favorite brands in one place.
I
So
love it.
question
So
for you. Is there like an oven in the back of your supply shop that you actually bake out of?
I have a full kitchen so I technically have two spaces where I'm at in Warranton. One space is a commercial kitchen and the
Mhm.
other space is a
Oh,
retail store.
Are they very
I
wow.
close
lucked
or
out.
is it all in one building or is it in multiple?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So is the shed gone?
Yeah. The shed is storage now for all of my
Oh,
for all the DIY boxes, basically.
all the Target crates are in the store.
So when did you,
Yes.
I know, and I'm just for the people listening, when did you open the brick and mortar? It was in the last 2 years, right?
Yes. November 4th, I want to say, will be open 2 years,
Happy early
which is
birthday.
crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lots of birthdays. My 40th birthday is coming up at the end of this month.
Dang, girl, you just lined them right up. Have a big old birthday celebration. I know
Gotta
you
get them
know how to
all out at the same time.
one, two, three, buy one cake. Okay, so now you have this brick and mortar, and to give people a little backstory, Warrenton is a absolutely adorable, like old town, quaint, really great restaurants. I've been to Denim and Pearls. I went to Licorice Pizza. Really adorable place. And now are you in old town, like proper, like where I could walk to it from those restaurants?
Absolutely. We're just off one of the little side streets. So if
Perfect.
you were at Denim and Pearls or Licorice Pizza, I'm a 2-minute, 3-minute walk
So you get a
right
lot of
from
foot
there.
traffic because Warrenton gets packed.
A decent amount. The side streets don't as much. I'm definitely more of a destination place with
Yeah.
local bakers knowing that to shop here, and then with cookie classes. I still have people come in and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know this was here." So, but that
Shoot.
seems to be very common in the brick and mortar
Sure. Yeah,
world.
sure. The great thing about Christina and how she's pivoted her business is she can host classes in this place, as well as now when you take a class from her, she's like, okay, if you look around you, if you would like to buy anything on the walls, I also sell that. A huge portion, and I want to say, even though I live close to Christina, I still order online. She's got super fast shipping. So when it comes to how diversified she's made her portfolio of revenue, you can order online, you can come do classes, you can buy in store. She also still sells cookies. So she has all of those revenue sources. And I don't think she sleeps at all. I've done the math. It doesn't
I don't
equal
think
she
she
sleeps
does.
none.
I know the husband is really into skydiving, and I think that your whole life is just feels like you're jumping out of planes constantly.
She said, you know what?
Pretty
I'm here for the
much.
thrill. The
Now, the
thrill of it.
interesting thing, now to just kind of bring it back to marketing and business, is we don't in Northern Virginia have a ton of supply shops to just drop into. I know you and I know Fran's, and I think there's something in Maryland, but I never go to Maryland. So
The Dessert Depot.
the Dessert
Yes.
Depot. So it's really those three, and you guys have massive, and in Northern Virginia, you have to factor in traffic. They're massively far from each other when you consider traffic. Because to just get from Fairfax to Warrenton, that's a day trip. And I like to spend a lot of time out there, but you have a whole market of really kind of from Leesburg, Warrenton, Fauquier County, even that side of Prince William County that would all end up at your shop.
Yep.
So how did you choose, and I kind of heard this in your intro, how did you choose which brands you were going to be able to resell? And do you sell any Stormy Acre products there? Like,
so Stormy Acre or Boujee Baker?
Boujee Baker, like your branded products. And is that something that that's in the pipeline?
As far as choosing brands go, I initially went to my first cookie con when it was at Ohio, and I talked to all of the vendors there, checked in, see who allowed wholesale. And that was kind of my starting point. There's a couple companies out there that I would love to carry that just don't offer wholesale. So, but I do try to keep it all small business. And here in the States, there's a couple Canadian companies, couple Australian companies, but I try to keep everything here in the US, and it's all small business, which I absolutely love. As far as my own products, just the DIY boxes. So I purchased those. Yes, I purchased those from the previous person who did them, wanting to continue them on. And finally, I have a designer and stuff in the works.
Stop.
So, yes.
People are
this is the first announcement of that.
Oh, hey, sorry to put you on the spot.
Okay, well, grab one of the boxes. Is it behind you? If I can see it, and just show them, because these are the cutest DIY kit boxes. If you've wondered like how you can really make a DIY kit an experience, these boxes are actually super fun for kids. There's games on the inside. There's actually the DIY kit instructions on the top, and on the back is a whole coloring thing.
I love
the
this
box
QVC vibe from Corey and Christina.
We don't need you, Heather. I love these boxes because one, they're very, very cute. So instead of just a white bakery box with a sticker on it, well, I do that for classes. This is fantastic for an all-encompassing event for the people who buy the DIY kit. It's
Christina, take us to the inside of the other one. Let's go.
Oh,
and while she's showing, that's super cute. That's like ridiculously cute. And I'm all about the cheap white box, but when you want to make that premium packaging, this is going to be like getting that cereal box where the kids can play with it and just really soak up some time. Because it's more than just a cookie now. It's this whole box is a part of the product. Why am I so blurry?
And not only that too, when you have to actually like print and cut out instructions, that's additional work. So while these boxes may be a little bit more expensive initially from your average bakery box, you don't have to do all the added work. You just fill it and go. And that's why I'm super excited about the new boxes that we're working on, because they're going to be a little bit more generic. And kind of go with the seasons.
I like that. That's great. Kind of seasonal, so they have a longer run time, so you're not stuck with a year's worth of Halloween boxes. Now, I know everyone's thinking salivating. One, you can see the boxes if you watch the YouTube channel. If you don't watch the YouTube channel, you'll never get to see the boxes. But if you're wondering, Boujee Baker is in the Vendy Blendy. So that is not just saying. So back to kind of asking this thing, which one supports the other one? Which one drives more leads? Does having the brick and mortar drive more leads to the bakery business, or does the bakery business drive more leads to the brick and mortar, or do classes drive leads to both?
That's a really hard question to answer. I think it's a little bit of everything, to be honest. A lot of because I've been doing cookies for 5 years now, I feel like a lot of my business for cookies comes just from referrals.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of repeat clients. Classes, I try to advertise as much as possible. So I have noticed an uptick in those for the fall, winter. Summer's always super slow. So, absolutely. And then I still feel like I'm just trying to get the website off the ground, like people to know that I'm here. So that's why the Vendy Blendy Cookie Con, like trying to jump in just, head first.
I think the big takeaway kind of from saying that is there's never enough ways to get your name out there. I think sometimes bakers are like, well, I did this one thing, it didn't really work, so I guess it's not for me. But like she's saying, I went to CookieCon, I did grassroots, I loitered in the shopping area, then I do this thing. Christina's even come to a cookie class we've taught here in McLean. It's like this girl is everywhere hitting the pavement. She's reaching out to wholesalers. I know that the Canadians, you're calling these people and really putting yourself out there. And in Warranton, which has got this like super quaint old town feel, which is kind of rare in Northern Virginia, you're in there and really involved with that, which I think that would be the big takeaway is there's never enough doors to knock on before you finally call it quits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get a lot of that too from my past career. I was in sales. So initially, this was all pre-COVID. I had to go and knock, and I talked with small business owners. So that set me up very well for understanding how to run a business. Not all of it, because I work too much, but
something I'm impressed with Christina, she said, how can I get on this podcast? Like, it's never like you waiting for people to knock on your door. It's you saying like, hey there, I'm here. What can I do? What can I do? How do I get on the Vendy Blendy? What do I gotta do here? And I think that is really what separates people from kind of a passive, like, I don't know, I guess I do it on the side, to like, this is a full-time business and I'll do anything not to have to sit in corporate American traffic anymore.
Accurate.
Yeah. So now I just have to ask. I know you look bougie, and I think that's where the name Boujee Baker Boutique comes from. But where did Stormy Acres come from?
So
she's like, it's really stormy and it's outside.
No. So when my husband and I first met, he had a dog named Storm, and it was like his baby. And our little farmhouse that we have about 5 acres. We have chickens. Hopefully we'll have alpacas in a couple of years.
Oh, girl, you're so crazy. You're so crazy.
And we called our farm Stormy Acres. And so when I sold my first cookie, I was like, I have to make sure I'm legit. I need to get an entity. I need an LLC, knowing from my previous role. So I had to think of something quick. So Stormy Acres LLC was how it came about. And I don't want to give that name up because I'm known around the community so much about it. So that's why I'm just slowly pivoting to the Boujee Baker Boutique, home of Stormy Acres cookies, basically.
That. So you mentioned, go ahead, Corey.
I just wanted to get into Christina's brain. Many of us, including me specifically, hate to be told no. We hate to put ourselves out for rejection, but it's almost like you don't have whatever that gene is. You were born without that gene, where you can put yourself out, and almost like you take no as like a challenge to be better, to pursue more. And is there anything that's happened in your life that you were like, when I hear no, it's a challenge. I love hearing no. I wake up and I tell myself no in the mirror in the morning, and it rests me up for the day.
I mean, I was in sales for 5 years, selling payroll to small businesses. I heard no way more than I heard yes. So it's just something you get accustomed to. And especially in certain sales careers, you have quotas. And if you hit a certain quota, you get to go on free trips.
Oh, like
that was my drive. So I always wanted to go on the free trip. Thankfully, I have a husband in sales now, so I still get to go on a free trip.
You tell him, honey, there's no such thing as no. You find those yeses. We're going to Italy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like just my whole life I was told no, or you can't do this, and you just you get a little hardened from it, and it's a growth opportunity. You're going to hear no. No is normal.
Oh, that's a good one. No is normal. Maybe I'll call that the name of the podcast.
Yeah, no is normal. And I think so many times when I hear no, I'm like, they didn't like me. It's not like they didn't like me. They didn't like whatever I proposed. And maybe I didn't package it right when I said it to them. And I just need to repackage it in a better way. But I take it so like, no, they don't like.
I'm going to go get in bed right now for the next 48 hours and try to recover from this rejection.
But it's so hard to hear no. But I think Christina has heard no and has pushed by the no's. And it's led to just such a great success because I'm sure it was not easy to open a brick and mortar. I'm positive that I can say that confidently. I feel like I saw some of your posts and you're like, I hate my life.
It's definitely not easy. It's not easy to opening it, I think, was the easy part, to be honest. It's continuing running it. That's the hard part.
Sure.
Finding good help is the biggest challenge.
Oh,
And that's where I struggle a lot with my time. Like I get one good employee and then something happens and they are going on. This isn't their forever career. I get that.
Right.
But them finding another good person, weeding through all the bad or not great, you got to vibe with them. You're going to be in close quarters.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's really the challenge. So then having to manage everything myself when I don't have an employee, it's like, oh my goodness, I need somebody.
Yeah.
But you don't just want to hire just to hire.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because
crazy.
honestly, whoever you hire is the face of your company. For those who are interacting with you on social media, coming into the store, that is who they see. Even though you are the one who opened the business, whoever you hire is a representation of you. And if they are, they don't love the business as much as you do, that's the people's impression that they're left with. Even though you're like, Christina, I'm so happy she's online, she's always smiling. The person that they interact with is the one that they remember the most.
Right.
And that is difficult because I think everyone's having a hard time, with hiring. But do you also, you're running the store when you don't have the help, but you're also baking too. So you're having to fit those all in the same 24 hours, which is crazy.
That's why we're open only 4 days a week. So I can have the other 3 days. One is to do classes on Sundays. And then Monday and Tuesday are my don't bother me, I'm in the kitchen days.
Wow, so you got a fully packed week, really, technically.
Yep.
Wow. Now, what's one thing you did in your cookie business that you'd never do again? And what's one thing you did in this brick and mortar that you like, lesson has been learned, I'll never do that again? Like, what are your don't do this, heed my warning signs?
In the cookie business, I would say not wanting to say yes to everybody. Like, it's okay to say no.
She's like, I love no. This girl loves
I love
so much. I say it out.
I say it out loud.
Because then you get overwhelmed or saying yes to those orders that you're not like, I don't love this theme, because then your heart's just not into it and your work shows because of it. As far as the bakery or the Boujee Baker, if I had to do it all over again, I would not have spent so much money on revamping the store.
Oh, really?
To be totally honest.
Oh,
yes. There's a lot of stuff I feel like I spent a lot of money on that I didn't need to.
So tell us some of the things that you did to revamp the store, because it is definitely your color. So I know you definitely painted black.
I paid the contractors to paint it. I didn't need to do that. My lights are really pretty in here. I could have done track lighting, which would have been much better from lighting perspective, because while these are really pretty, they don't provide a lot of light. In the kitchen, I had them take out all these cabinets, like these high cabinets places, and this island. It was more like a peninsula, like it was attached to a wall, but it was in the way. I would have just kept that. Like I did not need to spend all that money on that.
That's a rough one to even like condemn yourself for, because you never know until you're like, shoot, I'm in here, and that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting perspective from a brick and mortar. Now, if you could go back in time, would you have started the brick and mortar earlier or later? Like, if now that you've got these two babies, would it be like, was
Later.
that like you might, later? Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see why.
I would have saved a lot more money to do it. I mean, I had to take out a loan, but I would have waited for the perfect spot, because I was going to be in Warranton no matter what. Like I lived 12 minutes from my store. So I wanted to be in Old Town. If I had to go back, I would have.
Sorry, guys.
I
I'm
see
blurry.
you,
Just
Heather.
gonna
No,
talk
that's
through
okay. I would have waited longer so I could save more money and do a lot more research. Yeah, that's
So the big takeaway is startup costs are always bigger than expected, which I think most brick and mortar stores can say yes.
Yeah, especially I already had a kitchen built out here, and I still spent, I want to say, close to 50 grand on renovations.
Wow.
It's expensive. And then, okay, but kind of back to the like, when it is a corporate contract, regardless whether it's cookies or whether it's commercial build outs, it's just expected that that's going to be more involved financially than kind of a consumer based thing, right? And that's,
100%.
it's kind of par for the course of corporate because now we have a money generating space versus if you remodel your kitchen, you're not generating money there. I think some
Yeah.
bakers are like, I don't get why you charge more for corporate. Well, it's a different type of business. It's a completely different type of demographic. And when the business turns around, let's say Corey bakes cookies for a yoga studio, the yoga studio is using that product to gain more business. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
People like to say it's unfair, but I'm just saying that's kind of the expectation here. When you have these brick and mortars and you do these corporate type orders, which people would love to get involved with. Now, has your capacity, your production capacity been able to increase with a dedicated space? Because you're
Oh
still one
yeah,
person.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a 20-quart mixer. I
Mm.
have a full size freezer and a refrigerator freezer combo. So when I do dough maybe once a month, once every other month, and freeze
Wow,
it. So
that's
I make 80 pounds
nice.
of dough at a time.
Shoot,
Wow.
Mhm.
So you
that's
at scale, you
crazy.
just have a massive space dedicated to this. Now, do you do any of your baking at home anymore? Is home just
Home now?
nice?
Home is relaxed time.
Oh,
Like it is
good.
me checking out. So for the
Now,
most part, unless I have admin work to do, in which I do that on the couch.
Sure.
fair. I like that. Now,
Sure.
I know you have, like, back to your personal life, I know you have like a gaggle of dogs, like
Uh-huh.
a collection of the biggest dogs I've ever seen in my life. And they all follow her around like she is their pride and joy. And now, and that's because you're like, life is too simple with just one dog. Why not? We have five, right? You have five dogs?
5. Yeah. Well, we've always pretty much had 2 together. And then when we moved down to Virginia from New York, we got a dog together. And then how did we get? Oh, and then it was like, well, what's one more? 3 to 4 was fine. 4 to 5 is a big jump. I will
Really?
say
Really?
that.
Really? I would think
Yeah.
1 to 2. What's the jump? But you're like, nah, 4 to 5.
Yes, that's
4
where
to
the
5.
pressure really comes in. That's where you really have to. So, but you guys live on this farm, so it has capacity in Northern Virginia, where we all three live. It's hard to find land. So when
Yes.
somebody has that many dogs, they gotta have land, or it's gonna be what the animal control is gonna knock soon. But now you
We
mentioned,
definitely would not have huskies if we did not have
Yeah.
land.
Yeah,
yeah,
she's got the ones who got to brush a lot. That's all I know. I just know huskies are loud and they need to be brushed.
So back
That
to
they
your,
do.
if you don't care to tell us about your personal life, you were in New York. I know you met your husband out there and you guys moved down here. Just walk us through how that all happened and when it happened. And like I think a lot of bakers wonder how husbands or spouses integrate with like businesses, especially because you have two. So I would love to hear kind of your backstory of how you two met and then how it's kind of evolved along the way.
Well, we met in New York. I want to say it was 15 years ago now, which is mind-boggling. I don't feel that old.
You don't look that old.
Men,
You're basically 13 in this podcast.
yes. um, met. We knew each other for a long time before we started dating. He had just gotten out of a long-term relationship. I was in a relationship at the time. We were friends. Fast forward like a year and a half later, things didn't work out with me and my ex. He finally talked me into going out to barbecue with him. And I said yes. It was the probably best yes I ever said.
Oh,
Yes,
was that
true.
for the
No girl
barbecue or
says
for the
yes.
husband? And the barbecue was banging.
Both. I love me some barbecue. And then he got a job opportunity down here. So we moved down here. We started dating, got, started dating. I moved in within 3 months. We were engaged within 6 months and we were married. It'll be 13 years, November 12th.
Wow.
11, 12,
Wow.
13
Dude,
is our anniversary.
another fall thing for you.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like, the
one
fall is
cake
when I
is
just
gonna
is my
have
prime time.
a ton of candles on it. Every dog's been born in October.
Okay, so when you guys met, you both had careers that were outside of baking. And then when you guys have
Yes.
met, you have since entered into the cookie world. How did that go? Was he like, you're a Looney Tune? Like, what are you talking about? Cookies? What? Were you a baker like your whole life?
Yes, I love to bake my whole life. I had just never done cookies. So when COVID happened and I was like, I need to get out of this Groundhog Day, I was like, I knew a couple of people that had done sugar cookies. So I'm like, let me try this. And I was pretty decent at it and started selling my cookies. And he's like, you're really good. You know, you should sell more of these. And Well, little did he know.
I Kevin.
Those were his cursed
So
words.
come like May, maybe a little earlier than May, I was like, so I think I'm going to quit Paychecks. That was the company I worked for. I still love them. They're great. And he's like, well, I don't think that's such a great idea. And I'm like, you told me this would be a great idea.
He's like, I didn't think you'd listen to me.
I also had a management transition, and me and my manager just did not, we butted heads a lot. So it put me even more in a funk. And I was like, listen, I need to try this. If it's not successful after a year, I'm a really good sales rep. I can go back into sales.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
I don't have a college degree, by the way. I did not go to college. I worked my way up at the other company to get into sales.
Like a hustler.
So,
like you're like, I'm going to get this sale. I'm going to get this job. I'm going to make this cookie thing work. Like that sheer grit and determination kind of really puts you in an edge where you're like, it's no risk. I can always go back and do whatever.
Yeah.
I think you kind of lack fear, if I'm honest.
I would agree. And I think Joe, my husband, has a little bit to do with that too. He has cystic fibrosis. And when we first met and I Googled it, not a great idea. I was told his life expectancy was 35 at that point. So yeah. So he's always kind of taught me like live life to the fullest and enjoy every moment and just go for what you want. So
now the reason why I said to her, I think she jumps out of planes is because Joe's hobby is skydiving, right? Doesn't he like go all the time?
Yeah, he's actually at a camp right now in North Carolina.
And now how many, I know you're not a certified jumper, but I know you've jumped, right?
Yeah, I've done 5 tandems. My latest one was we actually did it while we were in Italy.
Oh, that's really neat. Have you ever tandem with a husband? Is he
No, he's not a tandem instructor, nor does he want to be. And I don't think I'd be that comfortable with it.
Yeah, imagine you get in a little fight on the drive down there and you'd be like, you better pull that chute or else. Yeah,
so I really enjoyed. I'd love to go get licensed, but I just don't have the time to dedicate.
We know you do not have the time, girl. You're like, no, I'm raising 5 more huskies, and then maybe I'll see if I can squeeze in landing on the moon.
But go back. So you're like, I'm going to take this risk. He says, I don't think you should. You say, I don't hear you. I'm going to take this risk. So you start Stormy Acres. Is that correct? And this is, you're baking out of your kitchen at this point, but everything's everywhere. So tell me how the conversation goes to the cookie shed.
Well, that was one issue, was my stuff was everywhere. So, and I said, well, what if we built like a shed or got something? I forget where I saw it. I saw somebody convert a old worksite trailer, and there's a place in Manassas that sells old worksite trailers.
No way.
So, my neighbor actually did deer processing on his house, because we live out in the woods. So there's lots of hunters. And he had recommended it. He's like, why don't you get like an old worksite trailer? And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So I did. And that was the start of it. And it was a big financial change. We don't have kids. We have always lived a comfortable life. We travel a lot, or we used to travel a lot when I actually made money.
Don't say that. Let us live in the dream world we live in.
So it was a big lifestyle change, but we worked through it, and with the help of a marriage counselor.
Yeah,
and
that's
he's very supportive.
Though.
He's not very involved in the business. He helps when I say I need something fixed, or I give him the finances, because he actually went to school for accounting.
Yeah.
So he will somewhat handle the finances. But beyond that, he's not very involved. So, and I'm okay with that. This is not his baby. This is mine. So
I feel like you are like in charge, in control. I think you like the control. Like, don't tell me what not to do. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah, you tell me no, I'm definitely going to do it.
We know. We've taken anything from this podcast.
I think he knows that now too.
Definitely don't make more DIY boxes that are custom. Definitely don't. No. So anyway, so having gone to the marriage counseling, which I think is such an interesting component and maybe not talked about enough, kind of the spousal support or the spousal condemnation of these kind of massive projects. I know everyone kind of looks and like, oh, your cute little cookie business, but in reality, and you definitely being proof of the pudding, you have a brick and mortar, you have lease, you have loans, you have another business. It's a massive undertaking. Do you think if he didn't support you in the way he does, it would be feasible still? Do you think you could strong arm it on your own?
I don't know. It would be really challenging, to be honest. But ultimately, in order for me to be happy in my marriage, I need to be happy
In all of
with
it.
in all of it. So I think he came to terms with, okay, this makes her really happy. She's not cranky when she comes home.
Yeah.
She's always in great spirits, except when she doesn't get sleep. Uh,
She never sleeps.
She's not in great spirits.
I do. I will take, even if I need a day to like just catch up on sleep and sleep 12 hours, I'll do it. But for the most part, I'm pretty good. I've learned to figure out my schedule to get at least like 6 to 7 during regular time and 4 to 5 during the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
'cause this will
love
be your
how-
busy
I'm
time
sorry.
for you, even in terms of just the store. I know you're a Vendy in the Vendy Blendy, so you're not looking at sleep for about 24 hours that day. Tell husband, say what? She's going to be cranky. But no, you can take a nap in the middle of the day. I expect to see you there at night though. But yeah, that's this will be your busy season for both businesses, right? Because when you
Yeah.
sell to bakers, their busy season, and as a baker, your busy season align.
Yes. And that is actually why I had to get rid of one of my Instagrams too. Like, or
Yeah.
not get rid of it, but just I had to focus on keeping everything in one place. So, which has been interesting, but it's working.
A little backstory. Christina's actually a member of the Cookie College as well, has been in for years. So we've actually kind of been able to watch her kind of come up with these
Navigate.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the interesting one, websites are always a struggle, but having, because she's got the problem. She's like, do I have two websites, one for my cookie business, one for Boujee Baker Boutique? And then now I have double the cost of hosting, double the cost of management, double the upkeep, and then double the social media, or do I combine it? And to watch you kind of navigate that has been pretty interesting. So it lasted a couple weeks ago. She was like, hey, running two Instagrams is killing me. I'm dying. So she's like, she's like, hey, to the group, if I could consolidate these, what would it look like? What would you expect? And it's been a very interesting process to be able to watch you kind of navigate two very closely aligned businesses, but not so aligned that your target market's the exact same.
Oh gosh, no, the target market is totally different.
Yeah, I know.
But it does work in both ways because what I do from a decorating from cookie perspective to my local people, I do think that benefits my other target market as well because I do a lot of farmers markets.
Yeah.
And decorating and how I package stuff. So it also advertises what I sell in the store as well. So it does work both ways, which is
Now,
good.
you're the only person I know who can answer this question with both perspectives. You teach cookie classes. You also sell baking supplies. You also sell cookies. So you're the only one who can answer this question. Does teaching cookie classes turn people into bakers or turn people into clients who order cookies from you because it's too hard?
Turns them into bakers.
Really?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting to know.
I mean, I have a good amount of people that have come to classes because they have ordered cookies from me before and they wanted to try it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I now understand why these things are so expensive.
Yes.
And then I've had quite a few that have come to my classes religiously and will have started their own business. So I'm good with it either way.
You
I
make
love
money
doing
coming
it.
and
You're
going.
going to either order cookies from Christina or you're going to order cutters from Christina. She knows she's going to get you out both ways.
It's a win-win.
That's a genius idea. Oh, I had a question about this. Let me just think real quick. When you teach cookie classes, which you teach them at your brick and mortar store, do you offer a discount for people who come to class and then want to shop the store? Or you're like,
I
hey,
do.
Smart. What's a
I
discount?
do.
Maybe I need to take a class.
10%.
I like it. So they can just load up. Do you find that a lot of people will take the class and then go and get the supplies to go home and do it?
A decent amount, yeah, I would say. And then you have the ones that just wanted to come for fun. They were just looking for a girls' day out or mommy-daughter date or something like that as well. So it's hit or miss. Sometimes a class, I will have almost everybody who wants to shop for something. And then the occasional class, I'll have maybe one person.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
interesting.
It goes
I also
either
think
way.
it's
Yeah.
that time of year stuff. If you're in Christmas, I'm getting a lot of grandparents are in town. They're just
Yeah.
looking for something fun to do. But if it's like those
Yep.
dry J months, like a June person, they're here to make income. Like they're here. I'm going to learn this. I need to get out of corporate America too.
So yeah.
Well, I also want to ask, tell us some of the brands that Boujee Baker Boutique carries. So people who are listening who are like, I kind of like her. She is super fun. I think I might want to order from her. What's some brands that they could expect to find from you? Because I see a lot of gel food coloring behind you, I do believe. Those little bottles are very prettily stacked.
Uh-huh. So let's see. We carry a ton of different brands. I was going to try to pull it up really quick, but that's not working. So clear bags, Kaleidacuts, Killer Zebras, the Cookery, Parchment Creation Co., which is like the embossed parchment sheets, the Sugar Art, Miss Cookie Packaging, the Cookery. I said the Cookery, Cake Mockery Designs, Americolor, Truly Mad Plastics, Genie's Dream, Royal Batch, and I'm probably missing a few.
Cover it.
Oh,
Yeah. If you go to our
sure.
website, which is bougieebakerboutique.com, and I'll put it in the show notes. I always wanted to say that. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the show notes. And you can really see there's just an absolute ton. And this is kind of, and I love it when Vendy Blendy Vendys are one of these like one-stop shop guys because you
I
can
love
really
it.
load
I
up.
love that's my favorite thing. And she's got cookie cutters, which is fantastic. And I know the Cookery is actually in Canada, so that you can get her stuff, stateside, and she's fast at shipping. The girl, I don't.
Yes.
As soon as you put in an order, she's like throwing it in a box.
Christina, Corey says, I don't understand how she can ship so fast. Corey's like, it's like the minute I click order, it's like in the, and I know, I've been to Warranton. You have the post office on Main Street, right? Are you like,
We do, but we have a shipping store that I can drop UPS packages off as well. And they're a small business and they make a percentage. So I will, if I know UPS isn't stopping to pick up here, I will go there probably almost every day and just drop off packages. It's like a 5-minute detour.
That's what Corey says. She just ships.
I think I would drive over there, but I honestly get the box to my door.
That's it, Corey. I'm not shipping your stuff until like a week later.
You've done this to yourself. You're just super fast at shipping.
What do you think of all these products you have in your shop? What do you think is the number one thing that you sell to bakers from your website?
Probably Americolor, just because I feel like so many people use it. But now I would also say the DIY boxes are for sure.
Now,
because I don't have another company. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. What I was going to say is
I was just going to say I don't have any other companies actually that I'm wholesaling them to, not for me lack of trying.
You heard that, other companies.
Yeah.
But so everybody's been coming to me for them. So which is a very good positive.
Now, what I'm going to tell you guys, Vendy Blendy insider info, is the Canadian Postal Service is striking, and then there's the cost of shipping to America. So a lot of the Canadian vendors aren't returning this year for the sheer cost of it. So if you have somebody like Christina and she's working with these Canadian suppliers, that might be the only way to kind of get this Canadian product if you're US based. So keep that in mind come November 28th. You heard it here first. Look at you two just looking at me like,
oh yeah, I'm so sorry. You were giving us Vendy Blendy tips and tricks. I
need to add little tidbits so people are interested in it.
So Christina, I do have a question as far as the Vendy Blendy goes. I know because you're wholesaling a lot of things, is there anything that won't be included on the Vendy Blendy just because of your contracts that you have in place?
I will have everything in the Vendy Blendy. There's not all of them I can have the full 25%.
Yeah.
So
if anybody wonders, the Vendy Blendy requirement to become a vendor is that the whole shop has to be on sale. However, asterisk, when they have these wholesale contracts, they're not allowed to always violate that. So we work with shops that do wholesaling and have exemptions for that to look a little different. So they're typically offering 25% off on their products, and then the wholesale thing is kind of up to them, and they kind of spell it out to you in their post made on the Vendy Blendy day. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Vendy Blendy.
Well, let's just jump right into that. The Vendy Blendy is, I'm sorry, unless there was any pertinent information we wanted to grill Christina because she has to answer because she's on the podcast.
She's on the podcast.
Do you have anything else, Corey, that you're curious from a baker's standpoint or from a cookie standpoint or from what's going on in Warranton standpoint that you want to ask her?
I'm going to do my takeaways. I thought it was very, very interesting how you've segued into a brick and mortar. I think a lot of people say it's all or nothing. They've never even considered like, a cookie shed or, any of those in-betweeners. But you actually kind of set yourself up for success because you didn't just you calculated the risk and you took it step by step. And I think and you outgrew the shed and you said, here's the next actual thing that actually makes sense. And it's this brick and mortar. I also think it's genius to combine your brick and mortar as a supply shop and a bakery in it. That's just absolutely pure genius. So when you're in the back, someone comes in, you have both sides are making you revenue versus just having a supply shop and you're like, wow, I got to get home. I really got to bake these orders. And you can't because you've got to man the supply shop, but you could just be in the back and going both ways. And that really utilized the space in a genius way. So it's always making you income. And I know starting a new business is difficult and getting the word out there. And that's why you're here today. But I've ordered from the Boujee Baker Boutique. And like I said, her shipping, I don't know how she does it. I don't want her to stop though, because it's just insane how fast she gets things out. But if
you're also in the same town or in the same town, so it's like one day.
But it's also you get it. You get the box. You get the box going. I don't know what you do. I think you're running around the shop just, she said this. She needs an Americano.
I got roller skates on, just rolling back and forth.
But it's just been great. So like it's a no-brainer to order from the Boujee Baker Boutique because she is fast as what she does. And she's a wholesale shop. So that's why I like wholesale shops because I might want, a cookie cutter that I need for an order, but I'm also running low on Americolor gel. So I can just tap into that, just grab a few things, and it's all from one shop. I'm not paying a bajillion different shipping charges, and they're not arriving at a zillion different times. So that's why I love me a good supply shop, and she's just been fantastic. And like I said, if she ever slows down on her shipping, I'm going to drive over to Warranton. Thank.
She's probably like, yeah, I've asked you guys to meet me for lunch a billion times. Drive over to Warranton. I'll not ship your stuff. My big takeaway from it is what I really like that you're doing is we always know like this is what I should be doing, or this is the best possible version, but the best possible version doesn't always fit, right? Like, so you were saying, okay, listen, yes, in a perfect world, I'd have 2 Instagram accounts. I'd create 2 TikTok accounts. I'd create 2 different types of content for 2 different TikTok accounts. And I natively post to each and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, she only has so much time. She's obviously juggling absolutely everything in the world. And you're like, hey, I'm willing to compromise on the absolute best case scenario for a good enough scenario. And I'm still proud to take that good enough scenario because I think sometimes bakers get in their own head like it's not exactly perfect, so I don't want to touch it at all. And you're like, hey, that was what I was. I tried it. It wasn't a perfect fit for me, so I'm going to find a hybrid solution, which I think most of success lives in this hybrid solution of as good as it gets, right? It still doesn't make me miserable.
Yeah.
And I think kind of we're entering in burnout season where everyone's like, it has to be perfect, or I'm going to hate myself and I'm going to hate my product, and thus I'm going to hate my business, and thus I'm going to shut down. When in reality, and somebody in the Cookie College posted it, and they were like, I forgot to follow up on an order and I lost the order. Hey, dude, don't beat yourself up. It sucks, but also part of life. It's part of running a business is forgetting to respond to an inquiry, and it doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a human person. If you let it eat you up from the inside out, you're not going to want to do this business. But if you're like, shoot, if I would have, I would have done it this way. I didn't. It is what it is. Let's move on. Let's move forward. And I think you're pretty good at rolling with the punches because you're like, this sucks, but I keep going. And that sucked, but I'm staying the course. Like, that's impressive.
Just got to keep moving. I mean, things are going to fail. Things aren't going to work. It's a matter of, okay, that happened. Move on. Like, don't dwell on it. You can't, because dwelling on it's not going to change anything.
Right.
But your actions will.
Oh, I really like that one. A lot of good one-liners here, Christina.
She got a lot of good one-liners.
And that one time Christina said that. She's like, I've been ready for this, girls. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the Vendy Blendy. The Vendy Blendy, I actually have my first Facebook Live on it. It's the intro to the Vendy Blendy, all the 101. If you have no idea what this made-up word is, you should tune in at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this Thursday. And every Thursday for the next 5 weeks, because I'll be doing some Facebook Lives about how to squeeze the most juice from the Vendy Blendy. So speaking of, Christina was a Vendy Blendy last year. You were a Vendy for the Vendy Blendy last year. If you could give people a tip, an insider tip as a shopper from the seller's perspective for the Vendy Blendy Day, what would you tell them? I know we're putting on the spot
Can I
here a
give
lot.
2 tips?
Yes.
Okay, first tip, definitely start early because stuff sells out.
Yeah.
Second tip would be make sure you are awake for the final hour.
Now, Corey is never going to listen to that second tip, but listen to Christina. Me and Christina and I, we will not be sleeping. We will be grumpy. We will be curmudgeons. But that last hour, we call it, I don't know, embodied chaos, I guess.
Clear the shelves.
Clear the
Yes,
shelves.
clear the shelves.
And that is the hour that you want to stay up for. And if you want to know why you should stay up for that final hour, you should tune in on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the Vendy Blendy, just a quick recap, you can go to sugarcookiemarketing.com/Vendy Blendy and read all this and get the list of vendors. I'm opening, so help me, the Vendy Blendy application for new vendors. I'll be opening that today, but we have invited our past Vendys from last year and we've had 39 returns. So the event is a go. It is a wild 24 hours on November 28th. So that's Black Friday. It starts at midnight Eastern Standard Time and it ends 24 hours later where everything is absolutely deleted and we never speak about it again until the next year, which is my favorite part. It's like a therapy session for me. Delete, 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 delete. And you say, what do you mean? Like you don't talk about it. It does not exist. Well, I'm in a Facebook group. You are not. I paid a guy, a virtual assistant, to remove you from the group. A lot of people self-expunge themselves from the group, but the rest of you will be removed. And that kid works all night long. And when I wake up, there's only 4 people left. Me, Corey, him, and his assistant. And then I remove them too. So it's like a thing that goes. But yeah, the Vendy Blendy is a blast. All Vendys, which Christina is one, are required to offer 25% off their shop with an exclusion of wholesale, but still they kind of really figure out a way to work around that. And then we have door prizes. Now, Christina, are you offering a door prize this year? Which is optional.
Yes.
You don't have to do it.
But I couldn't tell you what it is. I'd have to go look at the form.
Don't worry. I couldn't tell you what it is either. I have to go look at the form. But I will be doing the breakdown of the vendors and their door prizes next Thursday. So this Thursday is the intro. Next Thursday, we go through the vendor websites. But it is a blast. It costs you nothing to join. And if you want to join, be like, okay, girls, I get it. I want to be in on this. Go request to join the Facebook group called the Vendy Blendy. And Pendy, because that's all it requires to do. No cost to you. Just get a bunch of shops offering 25% off and door prizes. I think the door prize count was over 10,000 in value at this point.
Yeah.
So it's shaping up to be another good year.
You know what's crazy? My husband was talking about the Vendy Blendy yesterday, and he's like, you know what you should do? If it's called the Vendy Blendy, you should say it's happening in November and that they're pendies. I said, are you new here, sir? Hello.
Who doesn't listen to the podcast? Please raise your hand. Okay, it would be nice.
I said, that's been around for a minute. I said, but I like where your head's at.
I told Christina when she said, can I be on the podcast? I said, unfortunately, you'll be in every part of the podcast because you're oddly in every aspect of this. So moving into the Cookie College, Christina, you are in the Cookie College. What's something you tell people about that who are on the fence about signing up and maybe we're thinking about getting it at a discount during the Vendy Blendy?
It is well worth every penny from the cookie classes. I mean, that alone, I don't think I've done really any of the other classes. Whoops.
I don't want to hear this beautiful voice telling you to download Google Chrome. Okay.
But the cookie classes alone make it well worth it. And also everybody in there, it is people that a lot of them are experienced and they all want to help each other. And it's not just those one-off, random people that just kind of started or is like, doesn't have something positive or helpful to give.
Mm-hmm.
It is truly people who do this for a living. Quite a few brick and mortars in there. Mm-hmm. And the people that have been in there for a long time are those people that are going to help you.
Yeah, I like it. Christina, Kia, Mike, I know somebody's working on opening a brick and mortar. Kim, we have a lot of brick and mortars in different various, like Kim's a franchise, you're a bakery supply shop, and then you got the people just selling baked goods. So there's definitely a lot of help there. I don't think anyone has condemned anyone else. Like, no, you shouldn't do that. It's a very positive experience and it's a very constructive one because obviously Corey and I are hell bent on no one being rude. because there's a way to say, hey, that's probably not the way I do it, but here's how I'd approach that. And it's very important that if you sign up and you entrust me with your experience in the cookie college, that it's something that you're like, wow, that was really great. And I find that most people are like, shoot, I miss those people in that group. It was really, really, really helpful. And everyone was really nice to me.
Christina does have like a perspective that not many people have, because I see a lot of home bakers just turn into a bakery. But Christina says, you know what, I'm going to do a little something of that, and I'm going to do a little something else. So she's got just the most unique perspective. Almost when Christina has a question, I'm like, she's so unique in her questions. She's like,
you've been the topic of many a twin lunch conversation. Did you see this question? It's really interesting what she's doing.
It's so interesting. But that she provides that when people have those kind of questions, a lot of times us home bakers who are teaching classes are like, should we bring things to sell in the class? And Christina's like, heck yeah, that's the prime time to, and she has that
100%.
perspective that she can bring because she's experienced it all in this very unique pathway that she's created. I can't honestly like nail anyone to what Christina's chosen because it's so unique.
I mean, that's a good thing though. So,
yeah.
And I hope I can inspire somebody else to do it. Maybe not so close in Virginia, but somewhere else would be good.
Definitely not Warranton. It's not a good place in Warranton.
Somewhere.
Don't go to Warranton and start anything, okay? So we're moving into the Tell Me About It segment. Sorry, I keep turning myself off and on. And Corey, tell us what this is, why I try to find it.
The Tell Me About It section is where you guys can actually text in your questions. And today I'm going to make Christina answer them because she is a marketing whiz. Whether she says it or not, she's really good at what she does. But if you had any questions that maybe we don't address on the podcast, or you have like a one situation you're like, I just would really like if you guys could delve into it a little bit, that is what this segment is about. And you guys have done phenomenal texting in your questions. Heather, how many questions do we have this time?
We have 4.
Oh, so I'm going to let Christina choose 1 out of 4. One person will win. And that's because you texted in. You didn't text no as an answer. You said, I'm going to text in every single week till I win, which is fantastic. And you'll win. What do they win, Heather? It is a month?
It's a month in Cookie Design Lab, which I have to add this because today is the Sugar Cookie Marketing's birthday, where if you make a post using the hashtag CARE, Ioki, is the biggest pun I could come up with on a short notice, you could enter to win a Bamboo A1 mini printer that we're giving away. But Cookie Design Lab, Amelia, she was like, hey, also I want to tack on to that a year of Cookie Design Lab STL software for the winner of today's little happy birthday contest. So Cookie Design Lab is a really, really sleek way to make cookie cutters really, really quickly. I really do like it. Really, really. But Fusion 360 is so overwhelming that, like, for me to tell somebody, like, you should get into printing your own cookie cutters and download Fusion 360, it would be like, I'd be like, what did you just tell me to do? It's like the difference between downloading Photoshop or using Canva. Yeah. And Canva is so quick, so easy, so intuitive. And Cookie Design Lab is that for cookie cutters. So you can check out cookiedesignlab.com to check that out. They have a 7-day like membership. Like if you're like, I just need to print off a cookie cutter, I don't want to be here. I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. But back to the segment. Number 1 through 4, which one would you like to pick?
2.
You've got mail. Let me pull this over onto my screen. Okay. Hi, twins and Christina. As far as closing arguments, this is about last week's podcast about the jury. I was like, closing arguments? I never close my arguments. I argue all the time. As far as closing arguments, they cannot say whatever they want. They really only should be repeating the facts and evidence presented at trial. I think they can give a little more insight and context. Love the podcast. It's literally what my normal day job is, a legal assistant with the prosecution's office, and I handle homicide cases only. Love hearing from a juror's perspective. P.S. The defense attorney is nice and funny because he wants you to like him and his client. Okay, my Tacoma, Washington winner, and don't worry, Heather Campbell Berkshire, I also owe you a response because she won last week's Tell Me About It. Email me at heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com and I'll hook you up with that month trial. Nothing to answer there, but what do you take on that, Corey? You said that they just got crazy.
I think that's interesting since I did not know they could just say whatever they wanted. It seemed like, I guess they did condense their side versus the other person's side. And I will say the guy was likable. The defense was a likable dude. And I said, wow, if I ever, find myself in criminal lawsuit, let me hire
if I ever go to a bar in Rumsco Plaza at 2 a.m., I will call this guy. Okay, here's another actual marketing question. That was a great, thanks guys for listening I liked the tell-all myself, personally. Hey there, ladies. I recently started gathering with a group of ladies this month who all own small businesses. We have different types of businesses, not just baking, and we're all at very different stages in our business journeys. We have different topics and focuses each month. The meeting we're going to have next week, if you're reading this on the podcast, then it's today, LOL. We're talking about ways to help ourselves during quarter 4, which includes marketing techniques and strategies, as well as doing social media audits. If you had to pick 3 topics, each one being able to be about an hour or 2 hours long, which 3 topics would you dive into during a meeting with other small businesses? I'm going to start one that I know everyone would hate to be stuck in if I taught it. And I would say it's SOPs, processes. I think a lot of times we're reinventing the wheel as a small business when if you just took some time and said, here's the process, if this, then that, and kind of set up these things and then see within that process that you've actually written down, you've scripted out where you can implement automation. You're really buying back your time and you're able to create almost a workbook, a handbook. So when you are Christine and you're hiring somebody, you can just say, hey, here's how we do this here. And it's not everyone doing their own process in a unique way that changes every time. It's very a set standard. So that's what my topic would be on. What would your guys' topics be on?
Christina, you take it. I know you got one. I know you do.
Goodness. Especially for the holiday season is just anything. I mean, I guess it kind of piggybacks off Heather's, but just preparing, planning ahead of, okay, kind of work your way backwards almost like, so I know that my last day before I take a solid pretty much month off is December 23rd. So I'm going to work my way backwards. I have this market to do. When do I need to start planning? I do advent calendars and I do about 50 of them every year. So you can do the calculation of cookies. So I know that in about 2 weeks, I start prepping for that, if not sooner. So I've learned to be a big prepper. Not a doomsday prepper, cookie prepper.
Could we also call it doomsday prepping, though? Could Christmas be doomsday prepping?
Doom and gloom, we're the Grinch.
Yeah, I like what you said, where you said find the day on the calendar, work back. Jessica Genzel actually taught a Facebook Live on that a couple of years ago, and I think it's on our YouTube channel. And it's called Reverse Calendarizing. And she took it and she was like, here's how to take this date and let the due date, schedule out your calendar for you. Again, you're working, like Christina said, way ahead of time to get in front of this stuff. But that's almost what it has to be. Otherwise, you will be drowning. And like we say, it's cookie money printing season. The Super Bowl of cookies is also coincides with cookie baker burnout season, and where people are like, yeah, this is just too overwhelming. I can't do it. And we took a poll in the sugar cookie marketing group a couple of weeks ago, and someone's like, oh, in December, I actually take fewer orders. That's how I'm able to maintain. And some bakers like, well, in December, I take the most orders and then I float myself through the year. So it's kind of what works for your brain, of which we all have different ones. Although Corey and I seem to share a half of each. We said that it's just one person's brain and 2 people's bodies, unfortunately.
So we're operating at half capacity.
Unfortunately, we have to be together to be able to think. I've been trying to shake her my whole life, but then I wouldn't know what to do with my hands. Okay, last one. Hi, twins. I'll be a vendor at the Holiday Bazaar taking place in mid-November at a local high school. I'll be selling cookie kits, both DIY and PYO, all fall themed. My thoughts are to have 2 different size DIY kits, a 6 and a 12 count cookies with 4 icing colors in both. The PYOs will be singles for the little kids. I'll also have a small selection of decorated single cookies that will show off my skills. My question is, how many theme variations should I have for these DIY kits? My thoughts are to have 3 themes: fall, Thanksgiving, football. I don't want to have so much that it's overwhelming. What do you guys think? I appreciate all you do for this community. Thanks for your advice. And signed, Jennifer.
I want to give that one to Christina. She actually does markets all the time. She's the market guru. You've done markets throughout the entire year this year. And I know you've done it in years past so much. So what do you think about that?
I would probably not even do 3 DIY kits. I would 3 different themes. I would keep probably a fall, and that's it. Because fall, you can throw a football in there if you want. You could throw a turkey leg in there if you want. If anything, I would maybe do like a mini kit version, because I see a lot more people doing those more and more with like the 2 cookies, 1 or 2 bags of icing, and like a little tiny thing of sprinkles. I almost ordered those even pumpkin ones that you had as a freebie photo. Yeah. I love them. I'm like, Christina, you don't need to add any more to your lineup.
So your big takeaway is streamline themes, but increase size options. So she's saying I'm doing 6 cookies and 12 cookies, but then she said both get 4 icings. But I think you're saying do what, 3 cookies and 6 or 7 cookies, one with 2 icings, one with 4 icings, but the themes really stay the same so that now customers are not overwhelmed by options in terms of content, but rather options in terms of size. And you really streamline that down to 2.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that. Do you feel like when people come to your vendor market and they come to your booth, it's like they're there for a short time? They're like, hey, how are they integrating? What are they buying? Like, how do you watch their brains churn?
I have a bad habit of liking to bring everything I possibly can make, which does not always benefit me. I think it overwhelms people. So I have tried to kind of dial it back. And one thing that sets me apart from a lot of other bakers, even market vendors that come to the same market, but maybe on different days, is I'm obnoxious with my packaging. I like the fancy Bodabra bows, the tags, the boxes. But people are like, oh my gosh, I love the way you do this. Like it just draws them in. And it also helps fill up your table a lot more from a visual perspective.
For sure. Yeah, because the thing about, I want to say to Christina's point of, if you have 3 different DIY kit boxes and there's 6 and 12 cookies in each, and no one buys the football one, and you've made like 6 or 7 of those, now you have so much excess product. Whether you could say, hey, I think most people will like the fall thing. It's pretty middle of the road. And then I can put the football ones and the football player in a smaller pack, a twofer, where you get this. And those people who want the specialty ones, they can still get that, but they can still get the middle of the road. So you're not having so much excess product, especially if this is your first market ever and you don't know how people are going to respond. You don't want to have so much excess where you're just now going back to your Facebook page and be like, I have to sell these at a discount because, fall is over and now we're heading into Christmas.
You'd rather sell out than have a lot of extra to take home. And trust me, I have learned my lesson with that. You do not.
You're hearing it from the mouth of babes first. The girl's tried everything. She's learned the hard way. She's giving you the notes in it, and then she's still going to do something crazy. I can just feel it in my bones.
Yeah, for sure. That's a fantastic question, though. And then your PYOs, you could maybe make those the football ones. And if you live in a football town, that's going to be the one that you lean into. I just know, like in Northern Virginia, fall is what is right now because we experience all 4 seasons, but like right now it's fall. So people are like Skyline driving it, and those ones would be a big seller here versus like the football season kind of ones, at least for this area, I think. Great. Of course, I don't know even like football at all. I like people throw things.
Go Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Go Taylor Swift's boyfriend. My last question.
Fiance.
Go ahead.
Fiance. No longer boyfriend.
So
give it the times, man.
A Swiftie is screaming right now. I cannot do it there. Last question is for me, so I'm going to read it. 801 Utah is the area code. However, it's me, Kim Sims from Texas. So Kim was a guest on this podcast a month and a half ago, and she actually owns a brick and mortar in Texas. And she says, hey, ladies, specifically Heather. Hi, Kim. How does one find a Vlad? And who she's asking, Vlad is a contractor I used to do website code edits or kind of fix things when things go wrong. I think that you said you found him on a virtual assistant website. Oh, my camera went. Sorry, guys. I'm going to switch to the other one because I know people are like, I really want to see Heather's face. But because I have more than one option, okay, there we go. I'm going to switch to the lower quality. But
technical difficulties, we knew it was going to happen. Oh,
I looked
Heather's not as bright as she once was.
This is as bright as I can get. Okay, back to this. She says, how does one find a Vlad? Vlad is my contractor, my website contractor. I think you said you found him on a VA website. I know there's sites that you can find inexpensive VAs for smaller time-sucking tasks. Any recommendations? I'm learning that just because I can do things myself doesn't mean I should. And I don't have time for everything. Work smarter, not harder. Bonus question, because I wonder every week, are the other texts you don't read on the pod saved for the next week, or are they just entering with no questions, which is perfectly fine. Thank you in advance for putting my mind at ease. So first to the Vlad one, I found Vlad. I've used the website called upwork.com for just forever. I really like it because you post your job and you post the rate that you want to pay, and then the contractors come and bid. You can go to each contractor's profile on Upwork and see their ratings because, again, you're giving these people access to the back end of your websites, which is always
It's a
trepidation.
trust fall right
Yeah,
there.
I always tell people you're going to be getting in bed with these people, so you got to really make sure you can vet them. And like a person like Vlad, who I found and I've consecutively used exclusively for years now, he had a really high rating. He had been on Upwork for years. Of course, he's always like, "Can you leave me a good review? Can you leave me a good review?" Because it's that important to them. Now you'll have new contractors that have no reviews at all. I'd stay away from those. And then the contractors that can actually counterbid if they feel like you're a little on the low end of things, or they can if you want to start and work your way up. Now, I feel like what you pay for is what you get. So I kind of start with a generous offer, like $50, and then I have the option to tip, or we can create milestones. The reason why I like Upwork is they keep the money in a holding pattern. So I'll actually fund the contract, the project, and they'll hold it. So Vlad knows that I'm going to pay because he can already see the money's already been set aside. And then we can actually set milestones. Now, my projects are so little that, and I trust this guy pretty well at this point, I'll just pay him up front and then he'll just do the services. And we have a chat feature where I can chat with him about questions he has, logins and stuff like that.
So Heather, question, what can Upwork,
Awesome.
what would people go to Upwork for? What are some other ways? So you said the back end of a website, coding, things going wrong. What else is
So
something?
Christina's a great example. So she's trying to take a website and make it do two things. And I know she's constantly fighting. Are you on WordPress? Is that right? Or Shopify?
No, I'm on Shopify.
Okay. So even with Shopify, she could say like, I really wish I had two giant buttons. One said I'm a baker and one says that I'm a cookie class taker or something like that. You could say, "Hey, Vlad, here's what I would like. Here's what I think the project's worth." And then he could say like, "Hey, here, I can do this." I actually had Vlad do your Shopify website. You didn't want the products page to go to checkout. You wanted them to go to
An extra long
job
form.
So I said, "Hey, Vlad, this is going to be weird, but I'm going to actually move in the other direction. I need to make this impossible to order from." So you can find stuff like that. Now I use Vlad for bigger projects, but kind of what Kim's asking is I also have the virtual assistant that I have remove people from a Facebook group.
Yeah.
I actually found him in a subreddit for finding virtual assistants. Now, if you're on Reddit, you probably had to have an account that's been aged a little bit. So if it's something you're thinking about doing, go make a Reddit account now. Comment on Taylor Swift's relationship to Travis Kelce. Get some points because it awards you points for engaging with the content. And then when you're ready, go find these subreddits for finding virtual assistants. My virtual assistant, and I worked with him for years as well, he's from India. So he's happy with the rates that I pay. And then I do that kind of that menial task where I would be pulling out my hair. But the reason why the Vendy Blendy works so well is he's awake when I'm asleep because he's in India. So he is starting his day, removing people from the group. We actually have him do membership for the baking group. He takes all those email addresses and puts them into a spreadsheet. And I like having both. I like having a hyper specialized guy who does web development. And then I like having my virtual assistant who will just do, and he'll constantly say, "Do you have any tasks?"
He took all the YouTube, he put all the Facebook lives onto YouTube. So that was something that would have taken a bajillion hours. And he's like, "No, I just let it run in the background on his computer."
Yeah, you got to understand when you're not the host of a Facebook Live, you can't just click the download button like the host can. So he actually screen recorded about 150 hours. I mean, and I set him up on the software we use and paid for it, but he just let his computer record it. And then he followed. I created I used the screen recording software called Loom. And I said, "Hey, here's exactly how I want you to do this. Here's a spreadsheet I want you to use." And I come back a month later. I said, "You have a month deadline for this." And then he's like, "Here you go."
And I'd also encourage you, me and Heather have done this in the past in our marketing group. A lot of times we have to write blog posts that are specialized. Asking in a local community group, a lot of people have this expertise and they'll do it on the side. And it's a great way to grow your relationship with people who are actually local to you too, that actually can do the business. And if you ever want to meet with them, these are just virtual assistants, but they can be right down the road. Mm-hmm. So it's great for if you have a newsletter you want to go out and you're like, I'm not consistent with it, but if I hired someone to do it and it's this local mom and she knows all the great playgrounds and moms happen to be my best bread and butter who always order cookies, that would be a fantastic way to grow your name in your community while helping and putting money back into the community. It's my favorite thing to do.
Specifically, and I love Vlad, he's Ukraine-based, and I love my virtual assistant, he's Indian-based. They're not going to write copy. They actually don't write emails the same at all. My Indian virtual assistant, he'll write very conclusive with complete sentence, and Vlad's like, yes, no, left, right. Email, code. So when you want something that sounds like your target audience, you should hire somebody within your target audience, right? Mm-hmm. And then, now in these days, whether you want AI to be involved or not, I'd probably tell somebody, hey, I want it to sound like a mom of 3 kids. So write in accordance with that. Write my website copy for a busy mom of 3 kids and 5 dogs and a husband, something where it's going to sound a lot different. So you got to understand where you hire these different contractors is going to dictate kind of the work, right? So I like what you said. If you're writing a blog post or having someone write newsletter copy for you, I'd probably hire a lady down the street.
Yeah.
And then, I think people maybe kind of think virtual assistants or contractors are real expensive. But like I said, Vlad, but add those buttons for $50, worth the investment for me than having to trip over that myself. And then the virtual assistant from India, he has a set rate and we just agreed on to it. And don't be afraid to counter. Be like, hey, that's a little high for the rate I'm going to offer here. And then don't be afraid to tip because I want this guy to stick around with me. So you can kind of do that bartering and kind of find out what works best for both people.
Yeah. It's great.
Very neat. So let's go to the sponsors. Christina, go.
Just kidding. She's like, oh no, I'm losing connection. I can't see.
Wait. Cookie Design Lab, I already read them. They are honestly really neat software. You can go check it out at cookiedesignlab.com. You can sign up with Google. They have a 7-day trial. They have a monthly membership or the discounted yearly membership. But if you want to save on that, use code TWINS and save 15% off. There are in the Vendy Blendy. Baking Me Crazy, also in the Vendy Blendy. You can use code Favorite Twin or code Heather. Just kidding. It has to be Favorite Twin, which you all know is Heather, for 10% off. And that's a baking supply shop. Royal Batch, which Christina also sells, also in the Vendy Blendy. Use code Twin to save 10% there on. Well, Christina, which baking meringue powder do you use?
I have just started using Royal Batch for customs.
I love
but
how
it
you guys
is
are
expensive.
like, this fancy one gets Royal Batch. And this not so You guys are so crazy.
Classes and pre-orders, I use Genie's. I mean, I've used Genie's pretty much since the start. So that's kind of like
Is there no
my bread and
Wilton's
butter.
love here? Hobby Lobby, sunny side up?
Well, it's because Wilton's, they kind of did away with theirs. Hobby Lobby just changed their whole brand. So it's not working the same it once was.
Shoot. It's that supply chain stuff. It's like the whole generate goal. I told Corey she should do.
I found one. I've ordered it. We'll see. I'll test it before I say anything. But they said the best thing since sliced bread.
Okay. Christina, do you have
the images one?
Say which one?
The image fluff and stuff.
Oh, I did order some fluff and stuff to try. Yeah.
I heard really good things.
I know. I love the name. Fluff and Stuff. That rolls right off the tongue.
They're also in Virginia.
No way.
Yeah. They're out in Lake Winchester. I see images. Yeah.
Did you know the Sprinkle Factory is in Virginia? The Sprinkle Factory ladies in Fredericksburg?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Look at Virginia. Look at
Virginia represent.
Nobody talks about Virginia. You guys are missing out on this great state. Daisy makes, also in Vendy and the Vendy Blendy, code TWINS10 to save 10% off there. It's all things cake pop. So, Christina, do you offer cake pops?
No. Never tried them. Don't want to.
It's a battle, but as Corey kind of gets into the two things Corey's passionate about in life are Christina's shipping ability and Daisy makes cake pop molds, because I don't know why you act like that descended from heaven. But if you guys are interested in getting into cake pops, specifically Christina, maybe we can pressure into adding something else complex to her life. You could go check out Daisy Makes.
It's too easy. Her life's too easy.
Now there's Eddie, the edible food printer, and he's not discounted, but I read in Primera yesterday, the guy, Mark, who kind of runs the whole program, he writes this heavy hitting. He's like, you'll be missing out if you don't have an Eddie, and you'll be watching bakers post their corporate orders all Christmas, and you'll be wondering why isn't you? So consider getting an Eddie printer. I was like, wow, yeah, I don't know what's makes me buy
out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah.
Do you have an Eddie printer?
Yeah.
Remember when she came over to our house? To your house?
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. That's so funny. Yeah, was that your dry run of seeing if you wanted to buy one?
Pretty much, yeah. And I was sold. And somebody asked me the other day, they're like, what would you do if it broke? And I'm like, I'd buy another one.
That's a great question.
It's very much well worth it to me, like 100 times over. I've had the same one though for 4 years, 3.5 years, 4 years. So
I kind of feel like
Eddie's
birthday is also 5 years old. I don't think that product's been here for a long time. So you see a lot of these bakers kind of taking it into their 4th year. And he's kind of still going strong.
Christina, I got a question for you. Do you use the carousel or do you manual feed with your Eddie?
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing corporate orders, I'm definitely carouseling it all the way. I have the extra large sassy tray. Shameless plug for them.
Yeah.
Amazing. But if I'm doing like one-off stuff, I will use the sprinkle tray,
Oh, okay.
which is my fave.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is Fredericksburg, which is Virginia. Okay, so you guys heard it here first.
We got a lot of good going on in
You got to
Virginia.
redeem the state. Nobody ever comes. And then Bosch and Nutrimel, they're actually running they've just ended their last sale, but they do have and I'm not allowed to talk about it until Black Friday, but they do have a pretty aggressive Black Friday sale. But if you want something from Bosch and Nutrimel right now, use code Sugar Cookies and you save $20, and it pays us $20 that we pay to run the Vendy Blendy app.
Nice. All right, now to Twinterest.
Corey, you have something to do.
No, I want to hear what Christina said, because she was like, I hyped it up.
Yeah, when we added Christina to the Zoom meeting, she was like, I have one question. I'm like, what could it be? Like, technology, blah. She was like, the Twinterest. Can I say whatever I want? And we're like, yeah, girl, can't wait. Let's get to that part fast.
I've got it. No, I've been thinking about it the whole time.
Okay, well, I actually have two, only because one is sitting right in front of me. The other one I have on. My favorite mascara. I have used the same mascara for, I can't even tell you how many years. I get so many compliments on my eyelashes. Too Faced, it's called Better Than, I don't know if I can say this word.
I know
SES,
exactly what
I know exactly.
So you think it's good? I'm going to buy it tomorrow then.
It is the absolute best. And if you find that it gets clumpy, just use like one of those.
A spindle thing.
Yeah, that thing that you would kind of fluff your lashes or use when you try stuff on at a makeup store.
Yeah.
Just run that through. It is literally the best mascara on the face of the planet.
That is exactly. I told her, I said, if you're
I'm staring at your eyes right now. Yeah, it looks great, girl. It looks great.
If she flashes her eyes, the wind starts blowing everyone's hair.
Cue fan, please. No, I'm kidding. My other thing is the Moft.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried it yet?
I bought one for my little sister, and then she bought one for Corey. Unfortunately, I have not this smartphone that can have those, but you guys use them. Why? Because you use them to create content or just to watch TikToks?
Yeah. No, to create content. It's way easier than moving my Archon mount everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, now do you have your phone with you? Can you give us a demonstration? Pop off.
It just sticks to it, and it actually will stay pretty tilted over. If I need it up a little higher, I'll just set it on top of like a box.
Very nice.
But it gets the content right there, and it's not
like invasive. It's not like we're having to put your noggin, your big old head. That's what I'm talking about. My head, my big old head, plus the thing that holds the phone, and I'm like hitting it with my head. That is a little bit disconcerting, and it's hard to learn. And like if you're like a very movement oriented baker, you're gonna hit it. So these little things, I honestly like it for
It folds up.
It folds up. It's great for like around town content, because I like to film like if I go to a restaurant or something, but I hate having to set up the phone like against your water, and then people are like, you're like, everyone's in the background. So like just having it like while you cut your steak for the B-roll content.
You've been producing a lot of B-roll content there, Miss Berkeley Park.
Thank you.
Thanks for the invite.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two absolutely great Twinterest, mostly because I could buy them tomorrow, and I like that immediate gratification. Corey, do you have a Twinterest?
Do I have a Twinterest? I have a question Twinterest, and maybe someone knows. I have this order for, it's like 4 or 5 cookies, and they need a smaller box that's a flat lay box, because they'll be like gifted, almost like what you would say like a real estate set would, and they would gift it to the first time home buyers. I need a small box that kind of fits 4 3.5-inch cookies in there that isn't like just a bakery style box. So if anyone had any idea, I know BRP has some things like that. My problem is I don't want to order 52 of something. I just want someone to be like, I have this box if it's just on cookies, something like that. That's my Twinterest.
But it can't be just a simple bakery box. Like you can't.
Like,
like
they
a
want
12 by.
They want it flatter, and like so they can put a bow around the side and you can see the whole thing. So it's got like a clear
window box,
a little window, but not so 2.5-inch, where they're kind of hidden in the bottom of it. They want it like front and center so they can gift it out.
That's a complex question, buddy.
Yeah, complex question. I'll ask it.
Cookie sizing. Yeah, I know you will.
You have a Twinterest there, Twan?
I hate to say it. It's tire rack. comes road hazard warranty, 2 years. I mean,
I need new tires, so that's perfect.
Dude, you're welcome. Thank you for enjoying my Twintress, and I will be getting your mascara. And Corey is a brat. But so this isn't the first time I've had to use a road hazard warranty. As long as if you buy the tires from Tire Rack for 2 years. For 2 years, if you run over any nail and it punctures the tire, and if the tire is irreplaceable either, because this happened in the sidewall and you can't replace that as easily, Tire Rack, I submitted my claim, which was super easy to do. It auto pre-approved it, said, hey, listen, just go to our website, order the tire, upload your receipt, and then we just need you to upload that a company has put the new tire on. And that's all you have to do to prove that you got the tire replaced. So that tire, it was $400. And I got it for $0. And then their installation, which it's kind of unique to the area, but if you're in Northern Virginia, they're based out of Manassas, a Tire Rack van comes to your house and puts the tire on while you're working.
Wow. I'm converted to a Tire Rack.
Listen, a bunch of people smell real good, will have great eyelashes and fresh tires, and they have this podcast to thank. In conclusion, Christina, thank you so much for being our guinea pig, our first remote guest on the podcast. How do you think it went?
I think it's great. Recorded. I love it. Oh, yeah. No,
this is crap.
She's like, I hate the listeners. The listeners are the worst. I'm just kidding.
No, I love it. I don't listen every week, but I will catch up on episodes. And I was super excited when I started hearing guests on there. I also happened to see Kim and Heather after their episode with you. I went to a breakfast with them. So I was super pumped. I was like, immediately, I need to get on it. How do I get on it?
I like it. I love that, Christina. Like, here's the thing. And bless everyone who ever emails me for being patient if I don't respond. Okay, listen, I get a lot of them. But Christina's like,
the time.
I'm back in here again. How do we do this? I was like, girl, you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Well, thank you so much, Christina.
The closing. Can you give us your websites? If somebody wants to order from you, tell them how to find you on whatever channels you want them to find you on.
So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, which I'm not super active on yet. Boujee Baker Boutique, and then website, just boujeebakerboutique.com. Boujee is spelled Boujee. Versus the other way, because I just had to be extra and I like the way it looks. And then if you're in the Sugar Cookie Marketing group, if you go to the list that has discounts, there is a Boujee Baker discount in there.
Oh, too. Nice.
Do you happen to remember what it is off the tip of your tongue?
I want to say it's SCM, but I don't know offhand.
Christina has 1 million things to remember, and
I was like, hey, if you know everything, I want to know if you know.
I can go to Handy Dandy Shopify really quick.
Here, girl. It is Boujee Baker Boutique Packaging, and it's SCM 2025.
2025.
Yeah.
And that'll nice.
And if you're in the college, there's a different one. So you have to look for the sales thread posts.
Thank you.
Because there's a better discount in the college.
It's almost like she's really good at marketing.
Like we should sign it. We'll pay you for your shout outs later, okay? But yeah, Christina, we will definitely be going to lunch. We owe you that for sure. Maybe you're tired of Denim and Pearls and you want to go to season 52, but whatever, you'll pick and we'll pay. And this has been such a great experience.
Yes, it absolutely has. Thank you, ladies, so much for having me. Although I am very sad I did not get to meet Munch. That was my sole reason of why.
And because she loves cats. She loves them. I mean, she loves dogs more, but she loves cats.
She hides it well behind 5 huskies.
she had a cat for a long time.
I'm going to get you over here to
We have 2 now. We had 4 at one point. Oh, so we have 2 now.
Oh, crazy.
You're wild. And then an alpaca down the road.
I know. You definitely snuck in. And we'll get alpaca soon, too. Like, she's like, yeah, life's too easy right now. I just need to add.
Manifesting the alpacas.
I'm manifesting it for you. I don't want.
If you get alpacas, I would like to be invited over to pet the alpacas, please.
Yes.
Okay, great, guys. I'm going to end this, and then I'll upload this to YouTube. If you want to see her other Twinterest, which you should see when you go subscribe to the YouTube channel Sugar Cookie Marketing. And otherwise, we'll be here back again next week. But tune in to me on Thursday. Please don't make me talk to myself and hear more about the Vendy Blendy.
I'll be heckling you in the comment section.
Thank you.
Next one.
Bye.